What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sitting Courtside, episode 12, man. It's your boy Jerry D.
It's Dante over here.
And we're
Jer-
excited, man. It's opening night.
yes, bro. As maybe you may have caught at the beginning, I was shaking my head a little bit, kind of getting myself into the swing of things here, getting myself in the mood
Yes,
because,
sir.
like you said, the NBA season tips off tonight. Day of recording when this episode comes out will be a few days into the NBA season, but the NBA does tip off today, Tuesday, October 24th. Me and
Yep.
Jerry are very excited for it, and we have a jam-packed episode for you guys today.
Yeah, it's a lot in the same kind of like how it was last week. I like to call it kind of housekeeping things because these are predictions or opinions that have to come out before we
Yep.
actually dive into the thick of the season. And it doesn't look like we're like bandwagoning from pick to pick for certain
Yeah, we
awards.
need to get our takes out in the open. So when the season
Exactly.
ends, if we're right or wrong, we can verify we have this to look back on.
Yeah, like, y'all can feel free to shit on us because I know we'll shit on each other. Or
Yes.
like, like,
Yes,
wow,
we
you
will.
made this pick. I will boost the hell out of whatever the hell you said, like, and vice
Yep.
versa. So,
Wow, you thought Jayson Tatum was gonna win MVP, you idiot.
yeah, like, why not? Like, maybe I push you down the steps somehow all the way, like, up north, like where you're at. So, yeah.
Maybe. We'll see what happens.
But yeah, man, let's go ahead and just dive into this thing. So, what I have
Let's
up
do it.
first is the NBA championship odds for
Hmm.
the top, looks like 6 teams that I have here. So at the top of the list, the Celtics and Bucks are tied at plus 380, your boys.
Shocker.
And then we have the Nuggets and Suns out west, who have the
Hmm.
same odds as well at plus 550. The Lakers at plus 1300, and the Warriors round out this list at plus 1400. Just talk to me about what you're seeing, how you feel. Like, let's hear it.
I mean, all of this looks it looks right. I mean, the Celtics and Bucks obviously made arguably two of the biggest splashes in the offseason. Really just like changing the look of their team, from the identity that they were the year prior to now. In the Bucks case, the Celtics just kind of trading depth for bigger name players. I
Yep.
think those two rightfully should be, 1 and 2, or at least tied for one there. I think that makes the most sense. Nuggets and Suns, I mean, the Nuggets are the defending champs. Why wouldn't they be up there? Honestly,
Got
I'm
to give them the
surprised they're
respect
not
they deserve.
higher. I'm kind of surprised they're not higher. I mean, it's kind of like you'd think like, oh, the defending champ should be number one, but like I get why Celtics and Bucks are, but you know, the Nuggets, I know they're not the sexiest team in the world, but they know how to win. Then Nikola Jokic knows how to lead a team. The Suns, I mean, on paper, makes sense. We'll definitely have to see how the new look Suns with Bradley Beal are going to perform. Obviously, Bradley Beal is not playing tonight with dealing with his back injury and stuff, so they're going to kind of ease him into things. So we're not going to get our first opportunity to see what they look like game one, but that's obviously a team that you can't count out. The Lakers, I kind of like them being up here. And maybe we'll get into it a little bit. I'm kind of looking at the other ones. Maybe not. I actually think the Lakers have one of the best chances of making out of the West this year. I really do think highly of the Lakers this year. I think this is going to be a little different from what we've seen in years past with LeBron's teams because I mean this might be the most complete roster that he's had since being in LA. And obviously the year
Potentially.
21, his role is going to be a little not different, but obviously he's not getting any younger. You're looking at Anthony Davis to take the reins, and LeBron will still be LeBron, but it'll be interesting to see how he performs with a solid group of guys around him. I don't think he'll have to really worry too much about being that guy that has to give you 25 to 30 every single night. Can and will he do that? Yeah, for sure. But I think it'll be interesting to see how he kind of loads up this year. And I like their roster. I do. And that's, obviously coming from a Celtics fan as someone that doesn't necessarily root for the Lakers or want them to do incredibly well. But I do like their team this year. And I do like what they did this offseason. And the Warriors are the Warriors. You give them the respect. Obviously 4 rings with this core. They had Chris Paul. Will he come off the bench? Will he start? That'll be, we'll see what happens there. You're going to look for some guys to take steps up this year, like Jonathan Kuminga. I think he's someone that should see an increase in minutes, a bigger role. You lost Jordan Poole, obviously, so how will they look to fill in his scoring and stuff? Klay Thompson contract year, so he might chip on his shoulder, might have a really really good season. And like you mentioned a few episodes ago, Steph Curry, is still an MVP candidate. So
Right.
for good reason, they're still ranked up there. Um, but yeah, I think it's just to round out my thoughts. I think this looks good. I think these are definitely the six teams that should be held to this standard of having the best odds. But yeah, I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, like I don't think there's really a lot for me to add here. I think I want to start at the bottom of the list with the team that you just left off of with the Warriors,
Sure.
though. I think the only thing that bothers me about them, I know they are strictly only here because of what Steph Curry is and what he means to the team. Getting
Hmm.
Draymond back is huge. You mentioned Kuminga, Moses Moody's on the team, Wiggins, like they still relatively have the same guys on roster with an addition
Right.
of a couple rookies that I'm kind of blanking on right now, Pods and the Trace dude that I just can't remember right now.
Yeah. 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 Mhm.
I know they made some like additional pieces, but losing Jordan Poole is going to be interesting to see how they play now again. I know
Mhm.
it's like, oh, well, they won 4 championships. Like, what are you talking about? But Jordan Poole added a different dynamic to the team where, wow, we have to put more attention onto a third guy, similar to how it was when they had KD, Clay, and Steph, right?
I mean, he was a
Now they're
20
going
point per game scorer, Jordan
off
Poole.
the
It's
bench,
hard to
off the
replace
bench.
that off the bench. Yeah.
Exactly. So that punch is going to have to come from somewhere else on the team. And plus, I think the biggest hole that they've had in the last 3 to 4 years has been at center. No disrespect to Kevon Looney, great
Hmm.
rebounder, good team glue guy. I like what he brings to the team and what it looks like I
Definitely.
see on and off the court. But he's only 6'8", 6'9".
Hmm.
When I'm thinking about guys like Jokic, I'm thinking about guys like AD, they could dominate that matchup every night at the center spot. Like they're
Yeah.
going to be forced to double, and then it's going to leave a shooter open on the floor somewhere. So the Warriors, I get this definitely a respect thing why they're sitting there like with like top 10 odds here, but I think we have to look at teams like the Kings or maybe even like Phoenix is like already are where they are, but I don't know. I'm thinking like maybe even a Minnesota or
I
Memphis if
was
they
I
come back
was
heat
thinking
up.
of teams like Memphis, even like Cleveland or someone like that.
Exactly.
Some of these teams are kind of getting left off. I mean, I think the 76ers may be a team that would be up there too.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a few different things going on with them right
A
now,
lot,
which is
there's
the
a lot
reason
going on.
why. But yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of like what we talked about last week with Greg Popovich getting the votes for best coach in the NBA.
Yeah.
It's more of like a respect thing. What he's done in the past.
Yeah,
What
like
you've done in the past is great, but what are you going to do now?
this team exactly, but this team would definitely be in the playoff picture, not
Yeah,
discrediting
thousand
them
percent. Hmm.
at all
Hmm.
to like at least get there, but I can see a first round exit happen because it almost happened to him last year against
Right.
Sacramento.
Hmm.
So not exactly super high on the Warriors, but yeah, like everything else that's in this thing, obviously me being a Laker fan, I'm excited. I think that we could bang with all those teams that are above us. The
Yep.
Suns, the Nuggets, we play tonight for the opener. And
Yep.
also obviously the Celtics and Bucks, like versatility is key. And I think having this deep of a squad, it does kind of remind me of the 2020 championship in the bubble when we had guys like Dwight, JaVale, Danny Green, Caruso. We have a lot of bodies like Gabe
Yep.
Vincent, Jackson Hayes, Cam Reddish. It's a good cohesive group of guys that I think can just get shit done. So
Right.
yeah, I'm really excited for the Lakers. But every other team that's up there, like I have no qualms with anything you said. I think the list is perfect to some degree, except for that Warriors mark. I'm circling them a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah. 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 No, I agree. And after the championship, we have the MVP. So we'll have the odds to win MVP. We'll go down. We have a list. I believe this is the top 10 here. So we have Jokic at number one, Luca, Giannis Antetokounmpo to round out top three, and then you have Tatum, Joel Embiid, Steph Curry, and then we have a tie between Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and SGA, and then Anthony Davis closes out the top 10. Kind of like you said last week, too. Luka Doncic is always that guy that's going
Every
to
year,
be every
every
single
year.
year. He's going to be in the top two, top three For we're also looking at like odds here and like who has the best odds to win. That's kind of what we're going off of.
We'll have them on
Um,
screen. They'll pop up.
yeah, we'll have them on. We'll have them on screen for you guys. Luca. I mean, in all honesty, like I've said this, Jokic is like easy. Like, of course he's number one. Like, I mean, he does everything. He's a triple double monster. He missed out on averaging a triple double last year by like point
Point
0.1,
one.
point 0.2
Yeah,
assist. Yeah,
something
point 0.1
crazy.
assists. He's a guy that averages a triple double throughout the year. Luca, we know how fucking talented the guy is. It's just more about the where what team is he's on. They're winning and stuff. Didn't even make the playoffs last year. In all honesty, I know he's won it twice in the past, but Giannis is a guy that just always sticks out to me. It's like this guy is going to give you. I mean, with Lillard this year, maybe it'll go down a little bit, but he's a guy that's going to borderline give you 30 and 15 a night, and give you 2 and 1 on the other end, 2 and 2 maybe even, and still give you 5, 6, 7 assists a game. I mean, it's fucking hard to look at anyone besides Giannis right now for me. Obviously, besides Jokic to win the MVP. But I have said this before. I'm gonna say it again. I really think this is gonna be that superstar year for Jayson Tatum. Is it going to lead to an MVP? I don't know. But I do think this is the year where he's really, really going to solidify himself as a top five player in the NBA, a bona fide superstar, zero debate. I think he averaged 30 a game last year. I think that's going to be, I think that will go down a little bit now that there's, more scoring options on the team. Guys like Kristaps, Drew Holiday, who can, Kristaps averaged 20 a game last year. I think Drew averaged high teens.
Yeah,
I do think his assist numbers will go up. I think his rebound numbers will stay high. But it's the playmaking and the defensive side of things is where I really think he's going to take a leap as well as like leadership role on that Celtics team. I really do think if there is a season that Tatum wins it, this is going to be there's a good chance it could happen this year. There's so much talent in the NBA, which is going to make it very difficult just moving forward for some of these guys
yeah,
to win the award. Like, I mean, Tatum could average 30, 10, and 7, and it might not be enough to win an MVP. You know what I
because there could
mean?
be three other guys with the same exact averages,
There were
and
6 guys last year, 7 guys that averaged 30 a game last year. It's not even based off of, these crazy numbers anymore because everyone puts up these
inconsistency.
crazy numbers. It's just a matter of everything that, team success, all around game, both sides of the ball. There's a lot to factor into. And obviously, when it
Yeah,
comes to voting, there's always storylines, bias, and stuff. So you're always
exactly.
going to get that.
And that's
If I
exactly
had
what
a
I was going to hop into.
Yeah, if I had a pick, I think I'm going with Giannis this year. But as my sleeper and the guy that I obviously would like to win is Tatum. I would like to see someone like Tatum win the award, someone different. Um, but I think Giannis is going to have a pretty good case to win it this year. I really do.
Yeah, like pretty much the list that we're looking at here, maybe with the exception of like maybe AD and KD, older guys that are probably more so on the wrong side of 30. AD is still relatively young, but
Yeah.
they're all going to be in the running for this award for the next like 5 years or so, right? Like we're
Hmm.
looking at a list of guys that's going to permanently be etched in our minds here for the next 5 seasons or so. So definitely Jokic deserves to be the favorite. Hell, you could have made a case for Jokic to win it the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Definitely,
Yeah.
I think looking at Giannis, I feel the same way. I think there's some bit of voter fatigue on him. Maybe it's like
Mhm.
that stigma of, oh wow, all he does is run and dunk. Maybe it sticks in people's head. Maybe it sticks in these trash ass voters' head who made the GM list that we went over last
Yeah.
week. Not sure, but yeah, I'm right there with you. I think 30, 15, 5 to 8 assists, 2 blocks, 2 steals. The numbers speak for themselves. I think I'm actually going to pencil him in along with you to actually
Okay.
get this thing done. Especially, this is going to be the best perimeter player he's played with in Damian Lillard. I want to see what
Absolutely.
spacing he creates because we got glimpses of it in the preseason, right? Seeing everybody crowd Dame at half court, or once he comes off a screen, another guy's blitzing to kind of get a double right at the top of the key or on the wing. Giannis is chilling in the dunker spot or he's cutting to the basket. This was preseason.
Yeah.
We're seeing
Yeah.
glimpses of how
Yeah.
great this duo could be already. So
Yeah,
yeah,
they're definitely going to benefit off each other a lot on the
hell
offensive
yeah.
end. That's for
Like, it
damn
wouldn't
sure.
surprise me if we see Dame even inch his way into this list at some point during the season.
Good.
Like,
Yeah.
this list is very fluid.
Absolutely.
And
He could have a
also,
year. He could have a year where he averages 10 assists a game.
yeah,
On,
he doesn't
in
have
all
to put up
honesty,
30 anymore. He doesn't
no.
have to average 30. So
Mm-mm.
it's going to be interesting to see. But for my sleeper, I'm going to go with AD. Like,
Okay.
obviously, he's at the bottom of this list. And with the new game requirement to make NBA teams to win awards, you have to play 65 games. I get that. But he played in 56 last year. Like, I got it pulled up in front of me now. Like, I'm like, wow, we're making it seem like he played in 30 or like
He was only
40
nine
plus.
games off. Only 9 games off.
9 games away from actually being able to make a little bit of extra cash and to make it onto an all NBA team and all this good stuff. So in those 56 games, he averaged 24 and 10, was also in the running for the DPOY award, which is still kind of crazy that he hasn't won one yet.
Hasn't won that. Yeah.
But I think he could be in the running for both awards. And I like him being in the running for MVP because he talked about solidifying yourself with Tatum. And now he has to kind of make himself be known as like, I'm the guy, I could lead my team to a championship, X, Y, and Z. AD's kind of in a similar position. Obviously, he
Sure.
has a chip back in 2020, but he wasn't the guy. Despite his ridiculous run in the bubble where it looked like he was the best jump shooter on the planet, I think I think watching a masterful two-way performance this year from AD would push him into that MVP conversation. I could see
Right.
28 and 12, 2 blocks, whatever it is. And I think the Lakers are going to be a higher seed in the West this year than what we were last year, given
I agree.
health is exactly something that we get this year. So I feel good about AD. No bias in this answer at all. It's just this guy's a top 5 player in the game when healthy, and I'm tired of people disrespecting him. So I feel really
Yeah.
good.
Hey, I don't think that's a bad pick. It, like you said, it comes down to health and staying on the floor. We both picked Giannis here, and then we both picked our boys on
No
our
bias.
favorite team. No
No bias.
bias, no
No
bias, no
bias.
bias at all. But yeah, no, I like those picks.
All right. Well, kind of pushing on here to the next one that we have. Who wins Rookie of the Year here? So
Mhm.
obviously, you know who's at the top. Wembenyama,
Yeah.
followed by Chet, Scoot Henderson, Brandon Miller, Amen Thompson, and Cam Whitmore. So you got a couple of Rockets there to round out the list.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not pick Wemby? You know what I mean? It's like I really want to like go against the grain and pick someone like Chet or Scoot. I really do. I if Wemby does play the required amount of games, whatever it may be, whatever he has to do, he stays on the floor. I don't think he's gonna. It's his award to lose.
Yeah.
And again, like even if like Scoot or Chet like averages more points per game than him or something like that, or like he's not the leader in all these categories, I just think the NBA and like these voters are going to give it to Wemby too. I do think, like we talked about that bias and the storyline stuff. I really do think the NBA is like going to take advantage of the whole next big thing, next like
They
face of
have
the
to.
NBA type of thing. They're going to. It's
Yeah.
just so obvious. And like he's like obviously he's incredible what we saw in the preseason. It's like I can't believe that he's a real player. It actually is insane like what he can do, and I do think like if he wins the award it will be deserving and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I
Easily.
can't pick anyone besides him. Like I do think if anyone will beat him for the award it will be Chet or Scoot. I do believe that, but if
Well,
Wemby is healthy I don't think anyone's taking that from him. I really
yeah.
don't.
Not like I can't argue against that. Like
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
let's
I
just
mean,
put
look,
the
he's 7 foot, 7'5", 7'6",
he does
doing
everything.
crossover, like
Everything.
blocking shot. The way he like can reach over, like he can be standing at
I don't
in the
think
paint and block a 3-pointer. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
like I don't think from all the sequences that we've seen throughout this preseason of like these crazy highlights, and I'm just thinking in my head like there was a couple years back, I can't remember which rookie, but a couple years back, a rookie was dominating in the preseason. And then literally like press conferences with like Draymond or Patrick Beverly and some other guys were just like, that's just not going to fly come regular season. They're not going to let him
Mhm.
do this. They're not going to let him do that. And I'm pretty sure the guy did have a tough time. I believe it was Lonzo, actually.
Sure.
but,
Okay.
but a great
Sure.
summer league. And it was kind of like, balling, obviously, came in preseason balling. Then he
No
got
pun
strapped up by
intended.
Pat Bev in his first game. So,
Uh-huh.
like, but this is a different case.
This is a different
This-
beast.
we're
This is a
not even
little.
talking about a mold that we've ever seen. And I think in the
It's not.
summertime, we both wanted Chet to get this done. Like, I think we had Chet
Mhm.
like, oh, nah, he's a sleeper. But the difference between Wemby and the rest of these rookies, Wemby automatically goes in being the number one option, like
Yeah, yeah,
instant. I
yeah.
can't say the same for any of these other guys. Scoot is going to be running the show with Aiton, who's probably going to be the go-to guy. Amon Thompson and Cam Whitmore are going to share a backcourt together. So Jabari Smith and Sengun and Jalen Green are more likely the featured options, and those guys are like kind of off to the side. And Brandon Miller, to my knowledge, after leaving practice and stuff today, is not going to be a starter come opening night. So
Right.
it's it's tough. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, no, and it's like you talk about. We'll just say it was Lonzo, and he gets locked up game one. It's like who the fuck is going to lock up Wemby or try to get in his way game one? You know what I mean? Like that's the difference.
Yeah,
It's like with a typical build or something like that, you can find ways to stop them or like whatever it may be. But like Wemby is such a anomaly. Like he's so like we've never seen anything like it. Where it's like it might take a while for people to figure out how to actually stop him if there is a way.
yeah.
Giannis has been in the league for years, and people are still having a difficulty trying to stop him when he's going to the basket. I don't know when or if they'll figure out how to shut a guy like Wemby down.
That's kind of where like I'm thinking where Wemby could have some issues to start off is like the physicality of the game. Like
Right.
I don't
Okay,
think
that's
it's gonna
fair.
be
It's a little
yeah, it's
different
fair,
where he
but it's
came
still
from.
yeah, but I'm not even like 100% like behind that claim. Because with that type of length, I think the physicality that you get bumped off your spots or you get kind of get shifted out the paint a little bit out the
Mm.
post, sure. But you're tall enough and you're long enough to where you can finish over the top of the defense.
That's what
And
I'm
it's gonna
saying, dude.
take a few
I'm
bodies to
seeing this
throw at
guy do like spinning around guys, dunking the ball, finishing still, and just like going from the 3-point line to the paint, just like that. There's just nothing he can't. It's scary. It actually is
you. Yeah,
scary what he can do in the basketball court.
you have
It's
go ahead.
no, I like I'm out of words like
Yeah.
describe how impressed I am. Like
Yeah.
it's like you hear the hype and everything, and then you actually like again it's just preseason, but you're actually watching. It's just like how is this how is this a real person? Like how is this
Yeah.
person able to play basketball the way that he is at his size and stuff? Like again, like we're really looking into the future here, but if he has no issues with health, he stays healthy, all that stuff, like there's no reason for me to believe he's not going to be legitimately the best player in the NBA within the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah,
I
it's
I
like
really do believe that.
the way I see it, like I seen this tweet not too long ago that Tatum, Luca, Book, all these that young group of stars that kind of came
Mhm.
in years apart. This is your best couple years to win a ring before
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kid gets it together.
honestly.
Like
Yeah,
before
like
he
they
gets it
worked
together,
so
man.
they did all this work and stuff to get there to get themselves at the top of that up top of that mountain of being the next stars, and then Wemby comes in, it's like, well, I'm kicking you guys off. This is my mountain now. So
You know,
yeah,
I don't know. Like it definitely is a case of like just like Coach Prime said with Colorado, this is as bad as he's gonna be. So this is the
yeah,
worst
sure,
version
hmm
of Wemby. It, like your
yeah,
rookie season should always be the worst version of you. For some
right,
players, obviously that's not the case, but it should be for Wemby where his worst season is 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 blocks. That's a bad season for Wemby when we look back at his career. So I don't know, man.
it's
It's crazy. I think the Spurs are going to be a league pass favorite, obviously, because
yeah,
of Wemby. But yeah,
yeah.
like rookie of the year, to answer our question, we don't have any pushback. I don't have a sleeper pick. There's none of that. It's
No,
it's
no, there isn't.
it's
There
Wemby.
isn't. No, it all starts year one. We'll see how it goes.
Right. All right. Now, maybe one that's a little definitely a lot harder to call is most
Yeah.
improved. Like this list, taking a look at it, Michael Bridges is at the top of it. Tyrese Maxey, who I think is one of your favorites for it. Jordan Poole,
Oh,
Cade.
you're looking at are you looking at most improved or
Yeah,
defensive
yeah,
player?
yeah. I skipped one.
Okay.
I skipped one. Yeah,
I was
we're
like
going to most.
Tyrese Maxey number 2.
No, we'll get to the other one later.
All
But
right,
yeah, for
okay.
most
Yeah, yeah.
improved, Michael Bridges,
Yep.
Tyrese Maxey, Jordan Poole, Cade Cunningham, and Anthony Simons. A pretty
Yeah.
interesting list.
I mean, I get why like Bridges is number one, Maxey being number two with the whole Harden situation. I like those picks,
Yeah.
and I get that. I Let me tell you though, I love Jordan Poole. I think Jordan Poole is going to have a crazy year. I think he's going to average at least like 25, 26 a game. I think he'll have an all-star year. There might be a little sprinkling on leading score in the NBA this year. Maybe I'll sprinkle a little something there. I don't, will it happen? I don't know. That's why I only sprinkle a little bit. But I do think he's gonna run the show in Washington. I think he's gonna have a really good case to win this. And Cade Cunningham. I mean, when you talk about a guy that missed most of last season, he's a former number one overall pick.
Hmm.
He was drafted number one for a reason. He's nasty. He's a really good player. And I think when you're in situations where you miss an entire year, people forget how why you were selected as high as you were, why you are where you are. I think he'll remind a lot of people this year, if he stays healthy, of course. And I don't think the Pistons are going to be a team that's going to make any, if much, noise at all in the Eastern Conference. But Cade Cunningham makes that team better.
For sure.
So it'll be interesting to see where the Pistons end after the season is over.
Yeah.
Whether they're like teasing a play-in appearance or they're still at the bottom of the Eastern Conference like they've
Hmm.
been the last few years. But I do think Cade Cunningham is going to have a strong case to win that this year. If I had to pick right now, I'm picking Jordan Poole, but my second pick would be Cade Cunningham.
I feel that. I think we definitely have the same favorites here. Like, I'm a big Jordan Poole guy, as I gave in the first kind of spiel. Like, the Warriors will miss him because of the
Mhm.
dynamic that he did bring to the team as a lethal scorer. And hell, I'm never going to forget that. Everybody was calling the man Baby Steph, right? And I think we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
see a system for that man where he can get off like 30 shots a night, 25 shots a night.
There might be some nights where he'll go like two for 20, two for
For
25. I
sure.
think he
For
went
sure.
1 for 15 one game in the preseason. That'll happen. But
It comes with being a number one option. Like,
yeah,
you're getting that
when
attention now.
when you're a
So
volume shooter like that, you're gonna have nights like that.
exactly. Like, it comes with the job description. And the Wizards knew that coming in. But guess what? You got a franchise player whose ego should already be somewhat put to rest since he already has the championship. I
Yep.
think we're looking at a baby version of James Harden in terms of like the type of impact he could have on this team, like how Harden had for the Rockets. Now, I don't think that
Right.
the Wizards would be in the playoffs the first year, just like how
No, me neither.
Harden's Rockets were, but it's definitely going to be a season where I could see him 26, 27 points, 6 to 8 assists, like shooting like crazy bombs from deep. I think everything's going to be predicated on this dude and what he does. Like, you have a good second option in Kuz. You got a good steady point guard in Tyus Jones, a solid center in Daniel Gafford, Danny Avita. Like, it's a nice little group. Bilal
Yeah,
Koulibaly, Wimby's old French teammate. So it's a good young team. It's a project where I think Jordan Poole could go nuclear and he could average 30. We could see a couple of 60
he
balls
could.
from his
He could. He really could.
I think it's interesting though, but for my next pick though, I think it has to be Mikal Bridges. Like, out of
Mhm.
everybody that's on this list, none of them are really two-way players. Like,
Sure. Yeah,
Cade
sure.
Cunningham probably has the best shot to be
I
one.
was the next best. Yeah, for sure.
But even watching him play before, like, his rookie season and before he got hurt, I'm not seeing like I want to give it my all on this end of the court. Mikal Bridges got to
Right.
Brooklyn, averaged 26, 27, and was still guarding the opposing team's best player. That gives me classic two-way vibes of what we see from some of our favorite players that we love and no one loved today.
Yep.
Like a LeBron in his prime, or like a KD or a Kobe, guys that want to take that onus upon themselves to actually shut down the best player, and I can go get a bucket on the other end. So I like Brooklyn's team. Ben Simmons too, Cam Johnson. There's a lot of good pieces.
Hey, they could surprise some people. They can surprise some people this year for sure.
And speaking of which, before I do like transition here, I do like Ben Simmons in this running too.
I
Like, I
was
think
gonna
he
say he's not someone that's on this, but
should be
definitely
up there.
could be a sneaky pick to win Most Improved Player, especially if he's back to 100%. He looked good in preseason. He looked decent,
Hey,
so we'll see if carries over.
I'm liking it, man. I'm liking it. Another place he could actually have his foot in, which is a smooth segue, if I do say so myself, is who's going to win the DPOY? Defensive
Who's
Player
gonna
of the
do it?
Year, man. We got at the top. the reigning DPOY and Jared Jackson, Evan Mobley, really good pick. I love that.
Yep.
AD, Giannis, Bam, and Wemby.
Wemby. Yep. He snuck his way in there. Yeah, I get it. Jaren Jackson, defending defensive player of the year. Evan Mobley, the young guy. I love Evan Mobley's game. I think he is a big factor into what the Cavaliers can do out in the East. You
Mhm.
got your guy that you mentioned earlier, Anthony Davis. I mean, if he's healthy, he's going to be in the running for MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, all those awards. Giannis has won it in the past, but I really, I really like Bam. I really like Bam Adebayo on this list, and the reason why I'm saying that too is because he always talks about how he prides himself on defense and stuff. Eric Spoelstra talks high on him about him being one of the best defensive players in the league, but no one ever talks about him in the same, like, they don't consider him in the same light as some of the better defensive players in the NBA. I feel like he didn't get any votes in those GM surveys for defensive player. He doesn't really get much love when it comes to how good he is on defense, because he is phenomenal on defense. And as we've seen over the years, like, we've started to see these, like, different guys are winning the award. The Marcus Smarts, the Jared Jacksons, Rudy Gobert, like, post Rudy Gobert, who won it three times out of 4 years, whatever it was, Draymond winning it and stuff. I think this could be a year that we see someone like Bam win it. I don't think the Heat are going to be a top seed in the Eastern Conference, but I think they'll be respected and they'll definitely be a playoff team. And Bam Adebayo was gonna be a big X factor, a big reason why, and he has been a big reason why they've been successful. Obviously, Jimmy Butler being the top guy. Let's not discredit Bam. I think this could be a good year for him to kind of, he has a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove people wrong. And I do think he could come out hot this year, and I do think he can, continue that pace throughout the season, where it ends up with him winning a Defensive Player of the Year award. That would be my pick. But here's my sleeper. He's not even on this list. You want to hear a good sleeper?
Talk to me.
Nick Claxton on the Brooklyn Nets. I think Nick
I like
Claxton,
it.
because dude, he put up great defensive numbers last year. He put
Yeah.
up amazing numbers last year, and not even just off the stat sheet. Get away from that. If you look at his impact, he impacted that team a lot. But no one talked about him because there was just so much shit going on in Brooklyn last year. So many things going on with Kyrie, Kevin Durant, moving pieces, guys, Ben Simmons, guys going in and out. It was just so much. And I think Nick Claxton kind of suffered because of it. I don't think people were really like paying attention to what he was doing, because he was doing a lot, and he was doing a lot very well. I like Nick Claxton as a sleeper to win that this year, because I do think the Nets are going to be better. I do think that they have a nice team, not like they don't have like Mikal Bridges, you can say like star or whatever. I don't think he's a star
Yeah.
player. Like, he's definitely their best player, but it's a good bunch of guys that can make a really good team. And I
I
think Nick Claxton being that glue guy, that center, um, I think they could really make some noise. They could surprise a lot of people, like I said, but I also think Nick Claxton can do a lot for himself and put his name in the hat of Defensive Player of the Year finalist potentially. So
yeah.
that's what I'm going with.
I like that, man. Like I think that sleeper pick is perfect, especially because I think he had some comments over the summer too with how he didn't get his due diligence for what he was doing on that end of the floor, especially with the Kyrie and KD situation and James
Yeah,
Harden and stuff. So he's been doing it for a couple years now, so it's nothing new. So I definitely think, he could have a pop off year where he averages 3 blocks a game. Like
yeah.
he's everywhere
hmm
on the floor. Before I actually get into my spiel though, I just gotta say I really hate the fact that Jaren Jackson's at the top of this list.
Yeah, I
Like
do too. I
I
like. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it last year or anything like that, but he's definitely not a guy I see winning
no,
repeat Defensive
no,
Player
like
of the Years. I really don't.
I'm pretty sure I've been on record saying this in our earlier episodes. In my opinion, Jared Jackson is not really that great of a low post defender. He
Mm,
is a block artist. This is what
yeah,
Jared Jackson really
he's
is.
also not a great rebounder too, as we've said, for a guy at his
No,
height.
no.
hmm
And defensive
No,
rebounding plays a factor
that
into
plays
this.
a big part into Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah,
Like, no, I can't look at him and say that you're going to repeat the award. I think he's a phenomenal young player. a great
Yes.
athlete,
Yes. I
but
think
boy,
he's
I need
great
to
for the
see,
Grizzlies.
yeah,
But
like I need to see you lock up. Like,
mhm,
actually, you know what? I get the ball down low from Anthony Davis or a Jokic. I'm like, damn, like this guy's on me again. Yo, can we get a switch made or something? Like, that's the type of vibe that as an offensive player they should have playing you. I don't see him posing a super threat on that end of the floor, like for him to
yep.
repeat. Like, no. He's gonna average insane block numbers, which sticks out more than most. That's why he won the award in the first place, which is
Mhm.
exactly why he's at the number one in this list right now. And that shit
You
kind of
know
pisses
who
me off.
isn't? You know who isn't on here that
Brooke
I'm
Lopez.
just thinking about? Brooke Lopez. Yeah, where was he? He was number 2 last year. He was like, people might still argue that he should have won it last year.
I would. I definitely
Yeah,
would.
yeah, I think
You're
it's
looking at
fair.
one.
I think it's a very fair argument to be made that he should have won it.
Yeah, but sticking, just kind of moving off of that box. I think out of this list though, I'd probably say Evan Mobley. I think you kind of touched it on the nose there, like just the fact that he's going to play a huge part for what Cleveland does, and he could be the reason why they're a finals team potentially.
Yep.
Not
Hmm.
just his growth on the offensive side of the ball, but I think it's going to start defensively. Where we're looking at Evan Mobley as just a black hole. Like, damn, like this guy's just doing everything. Even if he's not blocking shots, contesting them, playing in the
Yep.
passing lanes, partly like just make life a living hell for everybody. That's
Absolutely.
I kind of feel like with Jared Allen too. There's like there's just twin towers defensively that are damn near unmovable. Like
Yep.
it's gonna be fun to watch. For a sleeper, I'm gonna stay in Brooklyn, but I'm gonna stay with Ben Simmons. I really
Okay.
think
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go
Yeah.
Claxton.
I
I'm
mean,
not gonna copy you, but
they have a few guys. They have a few guys on that team that can make a serious case to
yeah.
win it.
Ben, Michael, and Claxton all have solid cases, but I
Hmm.
think for Ben Simmons, this is a huge bounce back year. We've been talking about players solidifying themselves and yada yada yada. Well, you need to solidify the fact that you're an all-star caliber player, and it started on that end of the floor. At 6'10", playing point guard, like points per possession against you should be well under like point 0.6.
Yeah.
He's 6'10". You could clog up passing lanes. You could be tall. You can guard. Like I like
Hey,
his ability to guard one through
listen,
five as
man.
well. I'm excited.
When he was healthy, he was in that conversation. I forget which year it was. There was one year that I actually think he should have won the award. I don't know if it was one of the Gobert years or something like that, but there was one year where I legitimately thought Ben Simmons probably should have won it this year because he has. I mean, besides the shooting, he has a lot of really good skill sets. He can do a lot of really good things. Where we said he could win Most Improved Player, and he could also be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Obviously, he needs to stay on the floor, which I hope he does because when he's healthy, he's fun to watch. He really
Yeah.
is, and that Nets team can be sneaky really good next year if they all come together.
Like people might clown me. Like I know people like my friends and stuff have kind of gotten on my ass about it, but I am high on Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons is gonna have
Me too.
this
Yeah,
bounce
I mean,
back
I
year.
think we're both in the same boat for sure, and we
I'm
also just
excited.
want to see him do well.
Yeah,
He's been taking a lot of shit the last few years. Some of it deserved, some of it not so much. It'll be fun to see his comeback this year.
hell yeah, man. Moving on though to this next one, 6 men of the year. I think this list is
Hmm.
a little more. It's another interesting one, just like the most improved list. You got Emmanuel quickly at the top, tied with Norman Powell, Malik Monk, Malcolm Brogdon, and Chris Paul, pending
Chris
he,
Paul, yeah.
if he is going to come off the bench or not. We still TBD.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I look at this list. I mean, Emmanuel quickly, Norman Powell being at the number 1 spot, being tied for number 1. Norman Powell has come out and said, his goal, he wants to be like an all-star player. He wants to remind everyone how good he is because he's a really good player. Emmanuel quickly, who is good enough to start. I think he came in second. He was in top 3 for 6 man of the year last year.
Yeah.
Obviously Malcolm Brogdon won that one. Because it quickly also started 21 games. I'm looking at a stat line right now: 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, in 81 games. He did play a lot last year. Malik Monk, Malcolm Brogdon, obviously being in Portland. How long will that last? And then Chris Paul. I mean, I don't really have too many thoughts on this one. I don't think. I think I'm gonna go with Emmanuel quickly. I do think Malcolm Brogdon deserved to win it last year, but I definitely do think there was a strong case for Quickly to win it. I do believe this is a contract year for Quickly, or he could get an extension next off season. So, you have to think about that too. He's aware of that. He's going to want to come out firing, having a good year. Um, Norman Powell can be a catalyst. He can be an X factor on that Clippers team. If everyone's healthy over there, that could be a team that can make a whole lot of noise in the NBA. But like, I think quickly is the safe bet. Now, sleeper, I'm not even going to say sleeper. This is like kind of like the whole Chris Paul thing. Like, who knows if he's starting or not? Who, if Horford isn't the one that is coming off the bench for the Celtics this year, so let's, because the Celtics have been trying different lineups and stuff. If it's Derek White or Drew Holiday that comes off the bench, I don't think either should come off the bench. But if one of them does for most of the year, all of the year, I think that's a name that you throw into the hat as well, especially if it's Drew Holiday. I don't think there shouldn't be a galaxy where Drew Holiday comes off the bench, because you traded the sixth man of the year, your young defensive center, and 2 first-round picks for him. If he's coming off the bench, I would be shocked. But if that is the case, and Derek White, who people are saying is going to be the starting point guard, replacing Marcus Smart, he had a really good season last year, and I think he could do well off the bench. I don't think either of those guys are going to come off the bench. I do think it will be Horford that does get that 6-man role. But if either of those two guys are coming off the bench this year, those are two guys you should, or one of those two guys should be someone you consider to win this. But I'm going to
Yeah,
go Emmanuel quickly.
gotcha. Yeah, I'm gonna go against the grain here. I'm gonna go with Malik Monk here. I think I think
I
quickly is
like that one.
definitely
I like that one too.
yeah. Like I think quickly is definitely a good option because in the Knicks system, that two guard spot is like pretty vacant in my mind. Like, yeah, Josh Hart could be the starting two. You have RJ Barrett, or you interchange them at the 2 and the 3. But quickly is instantly that spark offense that checks in early into the game. So
Also, too, and this is the reason why, like, I do believe Brogdon should have won it last year. I know there's criteria to meet and stuff like that, but quickly did start 25% of the games last year for
yeah,
the Knicks. So that's people. I remember people were so upset on Twitter, and on my Twitter, like,
New
I'm
York fans.
obviously a Celtics fan and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
I was going like, I was being a dick about Malcolm Brogdon winning. I was like, oh wow, people really thought quickly should have won that award, even though he started a quarter of the games, and
that was not
people,
warranted.
New York fans, were so mad,
That
so
was not
mad.
that
No,
was
it's
not
not. But
warranted.
it's funny because everyone was like, "This is what quickly should win this." Quickly scored this many points, this many points. But if you actually looked at the games where he had like his highest scoring games, he was
He started.
starting. So
Yeah,
it's kind of like, if he's doing it off the bench, no doubt. Like, yeah, he
I
for
feel you.
sure should have won it. But like, let's
I
look at
feel you.
the details here.
Yeah,
But
it's
I do like Malik Monk. I really do like that pick.
yeah. 'Cause I really feel like Sacramento's system having like just looking at their backcourt. Let's ignore the rest of the team. Just D Fox and Kevin Herter as your starters. With
Yep.
all due respect to Kevin Herter, you're just more of you're a one dimensional player. I know you're a good shooter, but
Yeah.
shot creation and like everything else after that, eh, definitely a better defender than
Right.
Malik Monk because Malik Monk's only 6'1". But
Sure. Mhm.
Malik Monk checks into the game pretty early, slides Herder out to the 3, and he's playing the 2 alongside Fox. So the spacing's still adequate enough for him to flourish and also be that secondary playmaker. He had a couple of double digit assist games in the postseason. So I'm
Yep.
like, all right, well, I think this is a pretty safe pick in my mind for a team that I don't really see taking a step back since there's a lot
If
of
any,
hype, a lot of
if
beam
anything,
momentum.
if
You
anything,
know,
taking a step forward this year.
exactly. The
Also, him
beam.
and Fox are like bread and butter. When they're on the floor
Exactly.
together, bro, they're
Hey,
dynamic.
Kentucky's finest, man. They were doing
That's
it back in college.
that's
Like
right.
I like Malik Monk. I think as a sleeper pick, just because I really really want to get somebody out from the depths. Just looking at these lists and stuff, I really
Hmm.
do like Eric Gordon for some reason. I think playing in
Okay.
Houston all these years, these were just garbage years, right? That he was playing,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
he ends up as a Clipper, has a little bit bigger of a role, and people, what? Wow, I forgot Eric Gordon existed. Wow, man, like this
He's
guy's pretty
always been
good.
there. He's always been good. That's right.
Exactly. So I
Yeah.
think it's the same argument that I just made for Malik Monk to win it, playing in a very spacious system. You're playing with Book, Beal, KD. Yeah,
Hmm.
okay. Like, like once you check into the game, you could be the backup point guard or the backup two guard, whatever. It doesn't matter. Eric
Right.
Gordon's a great 3-point shooter and can still create for himself. and others. So I think I like that's a
Yeah.
really, really sneaky pick. I like
And
your goal.
I'm like looking at teams. I'm like, I can't even like really like think of like other guys that could
Well,
potentially win it. I mean, I'm definitely just like blanking looking at these teams and not thinking of the full roster, but
I can give you Christian Wood. Might be one in LA that
sure. I
could
was actually thinking who their sixth man would be. Christian Wood, yeah.
could step up and actually play some big minutes for him for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
moving on.
No, I think that list is solid. I think that list is pretty fair.
Yeah, moving on to this next one here, our last player award, which is, I think this is the second year they're going to be doing it. Actually, it's the Clutch
Yes.
Player of the
Yeah.
Year. We got Damian Lillard at the top, tied
Hmm.
with SGA. Luca at 3. De'Aaron Fox, the reigning winner of the award, at 4. And
Only
your boy,
four. Yeah.
Anthony Edwards, rounding out the list.
Listen, I love me some Anthony Edwards. I don't know if this is going to be the award that he wins this year, though. If he's winning an award, I don't know if I put money on Clutch Player of the Year.
We just need to like play back all the times that you have said on this show. I love me some Anthony Edwards. Man,
Bro,
did you
that's
see?
my guy.
Wait, I
Oh
can't
my
wait.
god, that I think about me and my friends talk about like who your favorite players are in the NBA, like excluding like my favorite player in the NBA is probably Jayson Tatum. Like I've been able to watch him like progress as the years have gone on. Like he's just, I watch him almost 82 times a year. Well, at least 82 guys if you think of the playoffs. But man, you think of guys that outside of Boston, I fucking love Anthony Edwards. I love me some John Morant, bro. Those are my boys, bro. I love those guys. Once John Morant's back out on that court, bro, Memphis is going to be one of those finals favorites. They're going to put it together. But besides the point, Clutch Player of the Year, interesting award. I mean, obviously, there's different factors into it, like fourth quarter stats. De'Aaron Fox was the leading scorer in the fourth quarter, had most free throw. There's like things that are you have to do to win this award that are much different than anything else.
Yeah,
Obviously, Damian Lillard being one of the most clutch players of this generation, I get it, but we haven't talked about it. I don't know if he I want SGA to win an award this year, man. I want SGA to get some love this year. I would love to. Hey, I just like Anthony Edwards, John Morant, maybe not in the same tier as those guys, but I do love me some SGA too, bro. I fucking love him. I want him to win something, but realistically, though, I think Luka might have the best chance to win this because we talk with the Dallas Mavericks. They're not really they haven't done anything to make me think that they're going to be a great team this year. Like, will they be a playoff team, a playing team? If they're not, then man, there's something that's got to be done
a lot
because
of
that would
questions
just
that
be
need to be answered.
yeah. Then a lot of questions need to be answered. But like realistically, though, all right, so they're not a great team. They're probably going to be involved in a lot of close games. They're probably going to have to like edge out a lot of teams to win games this year. Luka Doncic is going to have to take some big shots. He's going to have to put up some big fourth quarter performances,
But
right?
is he gonna have the ball?
Oh, or is he going to have the ball? Yeah. So then you have to think maybe Kyrie should be in
Yeah,
this conversation because maybe he could be the guy that's going to be taking these shots. I just the logic of like there being close games, them not being as great, so he has to do more in the fourth makes me want to say Luca, right? But I do think I'm going to go with SGA because it's kind of similar. Where like the Thunder are going to be good next year, but they're still so young, and it's not like there's going to be a lot of close games. There's going to be times when it's going to be a close fourth quarter, or they're down, or they're up. They have to keep the
yeah.
starters in. And who is going to have the ball in their hands? SGA is going to have the ball in his hands. And actually, he had a quote today that's been going around talking about playing off ball. And now he's like, like some of the best play. Michael Jordan's had to play off ball. If Michael Jordan had to do it, I can do it. Some of the best teams in history, you play as a team, and I have to play off ball. I'll do it. That is true. I love that mentality and I respect the shit out of it. But if you're down in the fourth quarter, the ball is in your hands, brother. All right. You're the best player on that team. You are taking the shots. So I am going to pick SGA, but I do think Luka Doncic is going to be second for me on this.
Yeah, no, I think I mean we're finally in alignment here, other than rookie of the
Yep.
year for this pick. Because
Sure. Mm-hmm.
you love you some John, some Tatum and Ant. SGA is my guy. Like I
Yes, he
can't
is.
I can't state that enough. Like we could have the playback clip of me gassing this man up countless weeks. But yeah, I think the main thing, obviously, he's already hit some big shots in his career,
Yep.
but he can also guard in those big clutch time
Yes,
moments.
that's another thing to factor into. Well, his defense.
Yep.
Yep.
And defensive win shares and the clutch, like the analytical nerds would do their research for their impact in the last 2 minutes of the game, where they're at on the
Right.
floor, why it's the most effective spot to be in, X, Y, and Z, all that other analytical BS.
Oh,
I
let
don't want
let
to get
them let them
Yeah.
let them deal with that stuff. I
They could
don't.
have
I don't.
their box and they could stay in
Yeah.
that shit. I don't know. But I definitely love SGA here for the pick. I think for a sleeper, man, for a sleeper, I don't even think it's a sleeper. I think I'd have to go with Kyrie Irving, like we kind of touched on. I
Sure.
think a lot of those situations that where there are going to be close games, Luca has big moments, but I know Kyrie has the biggest moment and several others to also back it up. Plus, I'm kind of on the like I've seen Kenyon Martin mention this the other day. Just is Luca really the best player on the Mavericks team? I think statistical wise, it's not really maybe a debate because you're seeing 30, 10, and 10 potentially every night.
Right.
But if Kyrie could be the engine or the head of the snake, like how he was for Cleveland in their championship run, even on their other finals run that they didn't win, or back in Boston before he got hurt, like he was still a big piece of that thing. The injury just derailed it. In
Yeah.
Brooklyn, it's kind of the same thing. Like he could be the same kind of player he was in each destination, just
Right.
maybe a more improved, a more seasoned, a more mature emphasis on the mature version of what he is. So
Hey, man, you don't gotta go on with me when it comes to how good Kyrie is. We get it. Like we both understand how good he is. It's never been a there's never been a concern with Kyrie on the court. That has never been the concern with him. Listen, Kyrie Irving, I think he is just as fair of an argument as Luka Doncic does to win this award, like you said. And I
yeah,
think this will be the year that we find out how not how good Luka. I think we know how good he is, but like as far as like being a leader on a team and like can he be the best player with someone like Kyrie by his side? We'll find out. But it will be interesting seeing how those two coincide for a full season. I am looking forward to it. I don't think they're going to be that good this year, record wise. I really don't. But I'm interested in seeing how those two they play next to each other for 82 game season, maybe only 60 games. I don't know, but
you know, this is definitely a topic for another day. But I am very interested to see if, like you said, if they could play together. Because I think if it doesn't work, it's Luca's fault. I can't look at it being Kyrie's fault because
sure,
Kyrie's played with prominent stars, and despite what you want to say about him getting swept by the Celtics that one year or the lack thereof playoff success in Brooklyn overall, still made it to the playoffs, made it to the postseason with Boston, even though he didn't play, and Cleveland,
right.
he won the championship. Luca, what have you done?
Hasn't done shit.
Yeah.
He hasn't
So
done shit. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yep. No, that's fair. That no one's arguing with you, Jerry.
On to
To the
probably the most
last
boring
one.
award. I don't mean to
Yeah,
throw,
no.
yeah, like throw coaches under the bus, but it's not really the sexy award that you want to talk about. But coach of the year, yeah, man. I think
It's,
Mark Dagnall at the top here, Adrian
yep.
Griffin, your boy Joe Mazzulla, Rick Carlisle, which is interesting to see. Nick Nurse and Frank Vogel.
Where this is crazy. Where's Rick Carlisle coaching right now? Is he
That's crazy.
what team is he on? Is he
Come on, man,
what
you
team
got this. We're playing a game
like
within our segments, real quick.
yeah, no shit. Why can't I think about what team he's on? I know he moved teams or something like that. He's somewhere else.
Just let me know if you need my help. I can. It's Indiana,
Wait,
man.
no, is it Indiana?
Yeah, you can double
Okay,
check
so
my
I
work.
was no, you're right. I was confused because like I was thinking Indiana, but I was like, why is he fourth? If like I was like, he's had to have gone somewhere else if he was it's that high up there. Really? Shit. All right, good for Rick Carlisle, I guess. I mean, they
Hey,
have like a decent roster. They have depth, but
former Celtics legend Rick Carlisle, man.
that's right. Not a lot of people talk about that. But I this all right. Well, this kind of justifies what I was gonna say. I don't know how I feel about this list. Joe Mazzulla at number 3. Get the fuck out of here. Listen, man. I love the Celtics. I want them to win the championship. Joe Mazzulla, let's be honest. I'm not saying a lot of it is his fault. I'm not the biggest Joe Mazzulla guy. I'll be the first to say it. I know he had a sticky situation to step into last year. He was stepping onto a team that he wasn't prepared to be the head coach of, and then he didn't have his coaching staff. He had Ime Udoka's coaching. There was a whole lot of trying to win the team over. Ime Udoka did so much to build, what he had going on there. There's a lot. He deserves a lot of credit for stepping into a situation that he shouldn't have had to, that he didn't expect to step into last year. But he also made some mistakes along the line. This year, new coaching staff. He's got a year under his belt. I do think he will have a much better coaching season than he did last year. But I can't see him being top 3 on any of these lists. I don't believe in any of that. I do like Mark Daigneault, Thunder head coach. I do like that a lot because I do think that's a team that's going to make a good amount of noise this year. I love the Thunder. I love what they're doing over there. Adrian Griffin, I get it, Milwaukee. But, this is a weird award because I feel like there's always like you see these lists, but it's always like you never know. It's always about like a team that like a Detroit Pistons. Let's say the Detroit Pistons, like Monty Williams is there. Like they could go from being the 15th seed to being a top 8 seed next year, and Monty Williams is going to be in the top 3 because no one thought that was going to happen. So it's always weird. You know who isn't on here, and I know you're going to like this, that I think should, Darvin Ham. I do think if I had to pick someone, like he might be the guy I'd go with. Because I do think the Lakers are going to have a very good season. I've said it before. I do think they can very much make the finals. Darvin Ham is a great coach. I think he's gonna be up there for sure. On this list, I'm gonna go with Mark Daigneault, but I guess my sleeper, maybe not even a sleeper. I think my pick in general is gonna be Darvin Ham. I think that's gonna be the guy I go with.
Yeah, dude, I have no disagreements with either one really. Like Dagenhall, we've been talking about the Thunder for the past 2 to 3 segments or whatever it was. So a really young team. I think one that understands each other in their roles with what you said about SGA earlier. So knowing that Josh Giddey's going to be the primary playmaker on that squad, probably since he is the best playmaker on it. Shea, Chet, Lou Dort, like the whole core looks like they're buying in to whatever he's doing in OKC. So that's the most important part. Buying in, which it took a while for the Celtics to kind of do with Mazzulla in that first tenure of his, but definitely Darvin Ham's a big one. I don't think he gets enough credit for the turnaround that we had at the end of the season to scratch and claw into the play-in, win those games, win all these playoff series. And I know we got swept by Denver, but it was still a competitive series. So I like Darvin Ham. I think for the sake of being different, I think we need to show some love to Mike Malone here. Like
I was gonna say another guy that's not even on this list. Defending champs, the coach isn't even gonna get any love. You got Rick Carlisle on there, but not Mike Malone. Come on, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Didn't even know what Rick Carlisle was coaching.
The Pacers? You're telling me the guy that's coaching the Pacers should be ranked higher than the guy coaching the Nuggets? Yeah, okay.
Hey man, I don't like I
Rick
said. I don't
Carlisle's
know.
gonna end up winning it this year. Watch.
Look, Indiana does have some talent. Tyrese, Miles Turner, Jarris Walker, Buddy
Hield, still there. Yep.
The team is
just re-signed Aaron Nesmith, Celtics legend, Vanderbilt legend.
Everybody's a Celtics legend. But yeah,
you walk through those doors, you get that title from me.
Hey, I feel you, man. I understand. I don't know. I'm also like, I just look at this list and I'm like, yeah, this is it's interesting. Like Frank Vogel being on there, obviously, because of the big 3 in Phoenix. And I don't know.
But like I mentioned earlier, like all these coaches. So now I'm thinking of like teams that can make a turnaround and coaches that could get that recognition, like Jamal Mosley on the Orlando Magic. Yep. I think that's someone that can sneaky win it this year. This is his 3rd season. The first time they were 22-60. The second season he was 34-48. They have two guys. Who was it? Pat Beverly, I think, said it on his podcast. Paulo and Wagner both made top 50 in the NBA
Yeah.
rankings this year. It's like when you got two guys that are that talented, you should be able to put together. Cole
Yeah.
Anthony just got a deal. You got Wendell Carter. You got Markel. You got Jalen Suggs that's going to be healthy. They have a nice young core. And I
Yeah.
do think that they could turn around. And then another guy who we've talked about this team about, Jack Vaughn, the Brooklyn Nets. They could make some noise in the East. They really could put it together. And if they do, Jack Vaughn deserves a lot of credit for it.
Yeah.
I think
We're
those
looking
are
at this.
like, again, like those are two guys that could
Yeah.
like jump up on this list and could win it.
And we're looking like as I look at this thing too, like Willie Green's a big one on here because hey, the Pelicans were the
The
number one seed
Pelicans,
in the
the number
West.
one seed, they could exactly.
So,
Like coach of the year is always a weird. That's a race that I would never bet on before the season starts because it's like you could have the best odds, but like listen, the Bucks, I'd say the Bucks here because Adrian Griffin being number two. Everyone expects them to be good. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But it's always about like a team that surprises everyone. It's like why did
yeah.
they?
Like how the
What's a
Kings
big
were last
reason
year.
why? Yeah, Mike
Yeah.
Brown, 100%. It's like those are the teams where the coach deserves to get recognition for it because yeah,
You
the
know what?
players are the ones out there, but the coach,
Forget
but
just drop everything we've been talking about.
okay.
Steve Clifford. If he gets the Hornets into
Come
the
on.
postseason,
How have we not talked about Steve Clifford
come
yet?
on,
Yeah.
Cliff.
No, but I mean, like, in all honesty, like those types of teams that do that turnaround, like,
Yeah.
of course they're going to be considered and they should be considered for this award. So honestly, who's where I said Darvin Ham, it's gonna come down to which team has the biggest Cinderella story. That's what it
Yeah.
is. That's always what
Ultimately.
it is.
Ultimately.
So
You know
yeah.
what?
Unless a team
Before
wins like 74 games and breaks the record
different
or some
story.
shit like that.
Different
Different
story.
story. Different story. Yeah.
But you know what? Last week we did the NBA GM surveys, and I said I don't know what the fuck they're voting on. Now I got to get out Vegas because looking
Yeah.
at some of these
Yeah.
lists and the odds for them and stuff is
You
kind of
know,
like,
but it's scary, man. Vegas always knows something we don't. They're always one step ahead.
man, whatever. They put their fate in the hands of a little kid with a scratch off ticket. I don't want to hear anything else about that.
Fuck Vegas. Fuck them.
I
But all
love it
right.
though. Pretty nice area.
I've never been. Maybe one day I'll make it there. People always tell me if you ever go to Vegas, don't go there for more than 3 days. 3 days
Yeah,
max.
I was there. I was there
Max.
for about 3 days, and
Yeah, anything longer than that, you probably you need to figure it out. You need to get out of there.
how about some games? Let's
Yeah,
yeah.
let's talk about some games. Yeah, let's get into some games. All
It
right.
stays in
So
Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, baby.
yeah,
Let's.
that damn right. You're damn
Whew.
right. That's a maybe a saying courtside after hours.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. After
Our
dark. After
side
dark.
show. We'll talk about it then. But all right. I have two games for you. I don't know how many you have for me.
I got three,
Okay,
so
so we'll start with you.
I'll kick you off. Let me ask before we even jump in. Do you want to go? You want to go easy, medium, or hard here? Like,
Let's start easy.
okay,
I want to ease into it. Yeah, let's
okay.
start
We're
easy.
this is super easy, man. It's a classic game of
Oh
Would You
Jesus.
Rather.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
Super opinionated,
Okay.
super chill. You could be Dante. You don't have to be DT. You could just be
All
Dante. Yeah. Let's go.
right. I like being Dante. Let's do it.
So, first question. Would you rather watch an NBA game in person or just be at the crib? You got the broadcast, obviously. You got the commentators that kind of go along and add into the experience, or the electricity of being inside an NBA arena where it's like you're right there and, oh, wow, the player threw a towel at you, or somehow you got a signed jersey. Like,
Yeah.
what would you
What are the
rather do?
seats looking like? What are the seats looking like?
I mean, we're not going to give you courtside necessarily, but
Right.
let's say you're like,
We're not in the nosebleeds.
no. You're like in the hundred
Right in the
sections, like you're
middle. Yeah.
somewhere in the middle.
So I feel like I've had this conversation before with my friends when it comes to football. When it comes to football, I'd much rather stay at home and watch the games and stuff like
Absolutely.
that than actually go. But I do love going to basketball games. I just love the energy. Also, it depends on what team you're a fan of. Like if you're
Yeah.
like not to be mean, but like I can't imagine it gets too Oh, I'm not trying to take a jab at you, but I can't
All
imagine
good.
it's lit
It's all
going to
good.
some Charlotte games. But like in Boston, like it's always rowdy and shit like that. You know, no, listen, Charlotte just came to my mind. I mean, I could say I could have
Again,
said a Detroit or something.
look,
Utah, they
look.
don't get lit in Utah. Let's
You're
be
not
real.
you're not exactly wrong. Okay,
Okay,
you're not.
okay. You
There's a lot
understand the
of
point I'm trying. You understand the point I'm trying to make.
absolute. There's a lot more nights in Charlotte
Like
where the stands are clear, like you can see the
okay.
seats. So
Okay. Yeah. So like Boston, I love going to Celtics games because the energy is always great. People are, people have a few drinks in them. You're having a good time. You're, whatever. I like the atmosphere. I love being in that type of atmosphere where it's just like you're with other fans and you're watching a game and you're just enjoying it. Um, Compared to sitting at home, and you can be at home watching with some friends, whatever, have a few drinks and still have a great time. But I'd prefer going to a basketball game and being involved in that atmosphere.
okay, I'm just gonna say when the Celtics come to Charlotte, a lot of people come out too, baby.
Yeah, I bet, I bet.
Next one I have for you. So we're
Uh-huh.
gonna stick we're gonna stick to this in-game scenario, but
Hmm.
would you rather sit courtside now or sit in a press box? I don't even really have to set the vibes. Like you can have a player fall onto you. Hopefully, it's not Shaq or anybody of that magnitude. But
Crush
you
you.
can, you could feel the atmosphere even more, and you could hear the chatter that's going on. People talking shit to one another, talking trash, whatever. Or you could chill up in a press box. We have an aerial view of everything. You still kind of get the broadcast in, I believe. Like
Hmm.
you could have them on the side. So for Charlotte, you could
Right.
still have Del Curry and Eric in there talking to you. It's still electric. You could feel it, but you're just looking
Uh,
down and everything. Like, what would you rather have?
I This is an
Wait,
easy
wait.
one for me.
Before you go, let me just say one more thing.
Okay.
If you got to take a shit, it's right there in the press box. Sitting
That's
courtside, you
true.
gotta, you gotta. Oh,
You gotta
excuse me.
leave. You gotta
Yeah.
walk up. You gotta walk up. I hear what you're saying, and that is a very good point. That is a good point. You have a few beers in you get the beer shits because you gotta get out of there. But I do still think this is easy. I think this is still an easy answer. It's sitting courtside. Come on, it's the name of the podcast. What are we doing?
You passed the
I
test.
do think it's just like that doesn't you sitting courtside isn't going to happen often. I feel like when it comes to sitting in the boxes, the press booths, whatever the fuck you call it, it's like that could happen commonly. Like whether it's like with work or like a friend's birthday or something and they rent out a box and like you have like a bunch of friends. Like one of my buddies in college, his dad, he had a very well paying job, but he like had like one of the boxes at the TD Garden where it's like for any event like we could go. So like I've gone to like concerts and like games with my friends and stuff like that.
Got you.
But like sitting court, and like also the reason why I love sitting courtside because I imagine like if I was ever in the situation, I'd like if the ball ever came to me, I'd be like mellow where I get it, dribble, like pull up, like pump fake, and then I sit back down. I give him the ball. I
You're
that's
getting
like that's like
banned.
that's like a
They're
bucket.
kicking
That I'd fuck up. No, I'm not. No, they know
you are
that.
not Carmelo Anthony, G.
That's like a bucket list thing for me. Just like act like, this guy's gonna shoot it. No. I'm gonna sit back down. But I'm gonna go sitting courtside. I think that would be cool. Also, like you said, like you hear players talk, you're like right there. And it was. I remember when I went to my first NBA game. It was like the section before the floor, and we were like front row behind like the like where you check in and stuff like that, or the announcers table, whatever. And just like seeing how big these motherfuckers are, bro, like so much bigger in person than on TV. Like I feel like just being courtside and just like watching these like just big ass dudes just like running past you would be so cool to watch, like right in front of you. So I'm gonna go courtside.
I really like the response to that of these first two. I
Mhm.
gave you a lot of chances to jump in your
Hey,
nostalgia window, and you
you're
pulled
letting
out.
me be Dante, Jerry. You're letting me be Dante, like you said.
Well, for this last one, Dante, that I have for you, it's more
Mhm.
it's more basketball oriented now. We're not talking about the scenery or the scenic view or just sitting in whatever seat. Now we're
Yep.
going to talk some league pass teams. Would
Okay.
you rather watch the Pistons? Damn, I forgot. I'm sorry. Would you rather watch the Would you rather watch the Pistons or the
Uh,
Orlando Magic on NBA League Pass?
oh, Orlando Magic. I'm
Oh,
going to
damn.
Orlando. Yeah, no, that was quick. I love Cade Cunningham. I do. I forget which one of the Thompson twins did they get?
Asar.
Asar Thompson. I forget
Right.
which
And,
one
and they're
went
twins.
where.
Right. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
exactly. Like you got Duran, you got Wiseman or Bagley, you got Bogdanovich. You have some guys there. Jay and Ivy. The Magic, I think, are just a fun team, and that is a team. We talked about them earlier with the coach, and like potentially being in the conversation to make a turnaround. I do think the Orlando Magic could be a team that has a good turnaround this year. I think they have all the tools. I think they have, obviously they're younger, but they have a solid amount of talent where if they put it together, I think they could, not be like a top 6 seed. I do think they'd be like a playing team or something, but I do think this could be the year that they do that. And I do think that they will be an entertaining team to follow and watch this year. So yeah, I think I got to go with the Orlando Magic. Also for Cole Anthony, post game interviews and stuff like that. That he's a funny motherfucker. I love Cole Anthony.
Oh, trust me, like that was actually my first post game interview back when he was in Oak Hill. So like,
Really,
yeah, like
that's cool.
like we're having nostalgic moments in this game of Would You Rather. But
Yes,
that's
we are.
that's
Yes,
all I
we
got
are.
for you, man. I think you
All right.
answered these to the best of Dante's ability, man. You did your thing.
I think you're right. I think you're right.
The long summer wait is over as basketball action is finally back in our lives. Sorry you gotta go back to work though, Joker. Days are getting shorter, but your nights are about to get a whole lot brighter. Thanks to the sponsor of today's episode, DraftKings Sportsbook, who has a special offer to celebrate the return of hoops. By just throwing down $5 on any basketball game, new customers will instantly get $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. Basketball's more fun when you're in the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code SITTING. New customers will get $200 in bonus bets instantly for just betting $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code SITTING. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or www.gamblingproblem.net. In New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit cpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and AMP, licensee partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Ages 21 and up varies by jurisdiction. Void in ONT. Bonus bets expire after 168 hours of issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
All right. Well, I got 2 games for you. I'll start with this one.
Let's lay it on.
Unfortunately, none of these are opinionated ones.
That's fine.
You do have to do some thinking.
Let's go.
Last week, I had you give me the last 10 second overall picks in the draft, right? And you
Oh,
love that
God.
one. This week, I need you to name me the 5th pick. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing that. That would
Thank
be
you.
that would be
Oh, my
ridiculous. There's no
God.
if you were able to do that, I'd be
I'm an
unbelievably impressed.
encyclopedia at that point. Like,
Yeah, no, honestly, like that's impressive. This week, though, what I'm going to have you do, I want you to name me the top 5 picks from the 2020 NBA draft. So we're going to go back a few years, okay? And I want to see if you can rattle off and put together that top 5. I initially was going to do top 10. Like, that was my thinking. I was like looking at the drafts. That would be some of these drafts. You get like just some random ass dudes that like just didn't pan out, whatever. So I want you to give me the top 5 players of the 2020 draft.
oh,
And it's hard at first because you have to actually think about like, who, was the number 1 pick and then kind of going from there and stuff. Who had what picks? So we'll see what you can do.
all right. I'm like grabbing my head, just trying to think like what, because that was my problem last week. I kept thinking like, who went in what draft, and it's like once I get one, all right, 2020, 2020 was
The late
oh
draft.
yeah, that was my boy. That was my boy Lamelo. Lamelo was in this draft. So that means
Yes.
1 through 3, Anthony Edwards, Wiseman, Lamelo at 3.
Yep. That's top 3. You got 2 guys here now, which I will clarify are very much so in the league, are are on the same teams that drafted them. They haven't moved at all. Yeah, I'll give you that for now.
They haven't moved, so they're still the teams
They
that draft.
haven't. They're still on the same teams that drafted them, right? They're not. Haven't gotten traded, left, nothing. They're still there. I do believe they're both start. I do believe they both started for their teams last year too. I could be wrong about one of them, but I do think both of them were starters.
No,
They're
go for it.
both big player, like not big players, but like they both do have like roles on their team. It's not like one of them's like a end of the bench guy who doesn't play a lot. They both do play, and they both were. One of them did start most of the games last year for his team, and the other one also started. So both of them are for the most part consistent starters for their teams.
Consistent starters in the league, and now they're about to enter, what is this, like year 3, year 4 for them?
3, 4 was it? Yes.
Yeah, year
No,
4,
20,
2024.
yeah,
2024.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So 4 years into the league, a relatively young player. Can I ask if are
It's
they
hard
like,
to think of the teams. That's the other thing too. Because if you knew the teams, I think you would get the player.
do they both play in the East?
Yes.
Can I add?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they both do.
Both Eastern Conference players. If I'm walking down this lane, I know DeAndre Hunter isn't it because I feel like he was a draft or two before.
I think he was before. Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so DeAndre Hunter's not. I don't think it's anybody in Atlanta, if we're being honest. So I'm just gonna X them out. I think can't be anybody else in Charlotte because that wouldn't make any sense because they only had one
Right.
first round pick within that.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume. This is hard. Hold on, wait. If I'm just walking down this path, come on, man, come
You
on.
got this. I know you got this.
So they're Eastern. Are they forwards? Are they guards?
Both of them are forwards.
Both are forwards.
Both are forwards, yes. And one of them, I mean, they were both teams were at least in the play-in last year. One of them was on a playoff team, like no play-in, and the other one was in the play-in.
All right, so let's narrow this down. Who are the playing teams out east? We got Chicago, Miami, Toronto. No, Toronto won it. I don't remember the playing teams. I
I
only
think they
remember
were.
Chicago.
I think Toronto was a play-in team. I don't think they
Toronto
won
was
the
the
first
playing
game
team,
though. Yeah.
and I can't remember. Oh well. You know what?
Don't.
I'm gonna take a stab in the dark since
Okay.
you did say they were playing. Patrick Williams?
Yes, he was the fourth overall pick. Yes, he was the fourth overall pick that year to the Chicago Bulls. So now you got one left, and it's the fifth. It's the fifth guy.
And his team was a
Was
playoff
in
team.
the playoffs. Yes, no play-in. Was a top 6 team.
Top 16. Who we got? We got Boston. We got Milwaukee. Drawing blanks on the rest of these teams. What other teams? Philadelphia, Cleveland, New York. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think you can stop there.
New York.
New York.
R.J. Barrett and
New
Josh Hart
York.
and all those guys are older, so not in that right draft class. The backcourt. Darius Garland came, I think, a draft before LaMelo. Donovan Mitchell, obviously, way earlier in the 2010s. I think Mobley was in the Cade Cunningham draft, and Allen was. Who's their 3? They just signed Max Strus and Georges Niang to replace this. This dude couldn't shoot. He's a liability on that end of the floor. With all due respect, I just remember Isaac Okoro. I just remember him
Yeah,
being left wide open.
there you go. Yep.
Wow, man. Look
There
at
he
God.
is.
My man.
There he is. You figured it out. You figured it
Oh,
out.
man.
You didn't get any X's either. You did it straight through. You got him.
My chest is pounding profusely.
Well, it's hard because like once you like think of a team, you can kind of like, all right, these players, whatever, map them out. But like, it's tough, man. Also, like that 3 years ago, it seems like a lot longer. 2020. Come on, no one remembers that shit.
It's more so like definitely without the like Eastern Conference hint. Like I think I would have just like gave up.
Yeah. There's 30 teams in the NBA. Yeah, it's gonna take a little bit, but hey, you nailed it. So I've been throwing these rough ones at you, and you're coming up to bat and you're hitting bombs. So
I mean, barely. Like Isaac Okoro, man. Like, damn. Okay. All right. You know, that was a good one. By the way, can you tell me what colleges Okoro and Patrick Williams went to?
did they go to the same college?
No, they didn't. I'm not even. I'm just talking. You ain't got
Oh. Did Patrick? No, hold on. Patrick Williams. Did he go to like a like FSU or something like that, or like Florida?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Did he? Did he? Oh
Yeah.
shit! I can't name Isaac. I wouldn't tell you Isaac, but I knew Patrick Williams.
That's still. We had a mini game like in Mario Party. You got the mini games. Like you just had one right there. All right.
I just got myself another a crown or something like that, whatever it is.
A little star.
Yeah, star. That's what it is. Yeah.
So these next two games I have for you, I'll choose number one or two, and we'll go predicated off of that. Two. All right. I need you to give me the 5 active players in the NBA with the highest career highs. Yeah, it's a little.
What?
So there's. I need you to give me 5 guys that have
Yeah.
scored the most points in a single game. Active though,
Okay.
not
Okay. Okay.
not all
Gotcha.
time. Active.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Active. All right. So I'm number one. Number one, I think, is Booker,
Booker is number
or he's
three.
up there. Where's Donovan Mitchell?
Is that one of your guesses?
That's one of my guesses. Yeah.
Yep. Donovan Mitchell is tied for first.
Okay. Booker had what? 70? 71?
Booker had 70.
So Mitchell had 71.
Mitchell had 71 along with
Damian
him.
Lillard, did he have 71?
There you go. Yep.
That's the other guy?
You got the top 3, which I think is super easy. These are the ones I expected you to get
Yeah.
effortlessly.
Okay.
So
I
the
know
last spot,
LeBron had.
the
Yeah,
last
go
spot
ahead.
here is actually tied. There's a tie at 5. So I would
Okay.
accept either name, and then the
Okay.
4th spot stands alone.
Okay. I'm trying to think of like the big name players. I don't think KD had a game 60 plus. Steph Curry may have. LeBron, how many did he have against I remember he had one game years ago in Miami that was like a maybe it was 60. Jokic definitely, Embiid no. But this is just regular season. Is this
Yeah,
playoffs included? Okay, all
no,
right.
just regular season.
Trying to like eliminate teams honestly too. Tatum no, Brown no. No one on the Nets, no one on. Oh, Harden.
So Harden is one of those guys at number 5, yes,
Okay,
with 61.
okay. Who is he tied with? Can I ask who he was tied with?
He's tied with LeBron at 61.
Fuck! Oh, son of a. All right, that's fine. I get that out of. So now this is number 4,
Yeah, the number
correct?
4 spot left. Yep.
What's the? Can I ask how many points it was?
Yeah, I still have the tab open.
I don't think that's necessarily going to help, but
It won't, but it's 62 points.
oh, who did oh no, not in the regular season. I was thinking Jamal Murray because I was thinking of him and Mitchell having the back and forth, but that was playoffs. That wasn't regular season. And Donovan, not Donovan. Jamal definitely didn't do that in the regular season. All right, Magic. No one on the Magic. No one on the Heat. No one in Charlotte. Chicago. DeRozan. No, I mean, he probably has had some high scoring games. Not 62. Not Levine. The Bucks. Giannis. No, not Giannis. I feel Timberwolves. I feel like Cat had a big game like in the last few years, but it definitely wasn't 62. Who the fuck had a 62-point game? Like it's I definitely know it because like obviously those games don't come around often. So like when it did happen, it was a big thing. Was it Steph? I don't think Steph ever had 62. I think he's had like oh no. Ooh. I'm gonna throw a guess out there. I don't know if this is right, but he came across my mind. I'm gonna give it a shot. How about Klay Thompson?
You know, that is a really good guess.
Yeah. Oh,
But
I feel
no.
like I mean, he had like the 14 threes or something like that. He had the game where he had like 30 something in the first. I'm thinking of those instances that maybe it
That
was a big scoring game.
that same game that you're talking about, looking at it right now, he had 60 to finish out the game because
Shut the fuck up.
he played 29
Oh,
minutes that game. So
crazy. That's stupid. 60
yes.
points in 29. That's so ridiculous. Okay. Kevin Love he was really good in Minnesota. He had a game where he had like 30 something in one quarter. But not him. Garland, no, Garland didn't have a game like that. The Rockets, the Spurs,
I would just don't
oh,
overthink this.
hold on. He's still active. All right. Oh, I don't know if he scored this many points though. 62 is a lot of points, bro. Oh man. I'm gonna go with give me Russell Westbrook.
Oh, nah, that was off. I like the guess.
No,
Off the
fuck.
wall. Off the wall.
Oh man. All right. I'll take one more guess. I'll do 3 strikes and I'm out.
One more
Can
strike.
I? All right. I'm gonna ask for one hint. Just one hint. What conference is it? What conference? I should. All right, because like he could have done it on one team and been on another team. What conference is he currently in right now?
He's currently in the Western Conference. He has played in the Western Conference actually his entire career.
Fuck. Is it Steph? No. No. Is it? Did he have 62? He must have. I mean, why wouldn't if he had 62 at some point? It's so like it's
It's
Steph. Like I mean, why would like I feel like it would be weird if he didn't have a high scoring game like that. I can't think of the Thunder. I mean, no, Kevin Durant played in Brooklyn, so that eliminates him.
Just look on your face.
All right, I'm just gonna say Steph Curry. I'm gonna say Steph.
Yeah, you said it so many times. I was wondering when you're gonna circle
Is
back
it?
to it.
Oh
It's
my
Steph Curry.
god.
It's Steph
Yeah.
Curry.
I thought it was like too I was trying to think like I said like Clay. I'm trying to think of like
Yeah,
not the star player on the team, but a guy that just had like went off one or two games. You know what I mean? Oh,
yeah.
when did Steph have 62?
It was actually pretty recent. It was in 2021. So
Okay, so it's in the last few years. Oh
yeah,
shit. Hmm.
up against the
Good for
Blazers.
him.
Too. Yeah, like he just shat on the Blazers that game.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Good for
man,
him.
you did your thing. Though
All right.
you said it several times. You got back around to it. You got it right.
Yeah.
So
Have like a counter of how many times I mentioned Steph before locking in the answer.
you kept saying it's not Steph.
I don't know. I was like, it probably is, but like I feel like this is like an out of the box one. That's why I threw out like Clay. Russell Westbrook, I felt like was like an okay guess. I feel like he came close to 60 maybe a few times when he was in Oklahoma City.
Maybe I didn't
But
like
yeah, I don't
have
know.
like the
Maybe
top
not.
like 20 in front of me. And like there's a lot of clones, right? Because Damian Lillard had
Like
a lot of like
Lillard had a few of them.
James
Yeah,
Harden. And like I don't
right.
have Stat Muse Plus, whatever it is, so I can't see the rest of the list. So
Yeah. All right, well, I'll take it. I'll take it. All right. The last game I have for you. This one does require a little bit of thinking, but I don't think this will be super difficult for you, okay?
all right, cool.
I want you to name me the last All Star on these teams. So I'm going to give you four NBA teams. I need you to tell me which player was their last All Star. And this is probably going to be the only time that we do this game because like these teams are really the only ones that like haven't had an All Star in a few years at least.
Okay.
So because a lot of teams like obviously there's so many All Star like selections that teams have had, you know, a lot of different teams like have had like all stars in the last year or two that you'd probably be able to remember like that. So
Yeah.
this is going to be a little. We'll see how you do here. The first team I have for you is the Houston Rockets.
Oh damn, it has been a little while for them, huh? Uh I, should I just say the obvious one here? Like wait, hold on, wait. Was there anything crazy that happened after he left? No. Yeah, give me James Harden. It gotta be James Harden.
So that's correct. There were two acceptable answers because James Harden last year as being an All Star was also Russell Westbrook's last year as an All Star in Houston. They were both All Stars that year in 2020. So either one would have been acceptable, but one for one
Gotcha.
so far. The next team I have for you is the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah, that's another pretty interesting one. But literally when you said that, the first name that jumps to the page is Blake Griffin.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, back in 2019. 2019 was their last time they've had an All Star.
Your dramatic pauses really like make my heart skip a beat. But
Are you sure about that?
yeah.
Really, Blake Griffin? You sure about that one? All right. Next team I have for you is the San Antonio Spurs, and that might change very soon. But when was the last time? Who was the last player that was an All Star for them?
Ooh, another interesting one, but trying to think. Oh, see, that's a trick. You almost got me. I think you almost got me. I think you almost got me, but I believe it's DeJounte Murray.
Correct. It is DeJounte Murray.
I almost said DeMar DeRozan. I almost said it.
Yeah, I have the years written down. I don't have it written down for DeJounte Murray, but I think it was probably like 2021 or something like that. The last year, whatever, he was in San Antonio. The last team I have for you is the Orlando Magic.
No, there's no need to overthink this one either. You know why? I'm going into my mind palace right now. You know why?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because in the bubble, it was in Orlando, and they had this sidebar conversation of it. And I was like, oh, yeah, he did play there before he got traded to Chicago. Give me Nikola Vucevic.
Nikola Vucevic is the correct answer. Yes. In 2021, his last season in Orlando, he was an all-star. 4 for 4. You nailed it.
Take me to Wendy's, baby.
I'm gonna
I'm
start
cashing
calling
out.
you Wendy. I'm gonna start calling you Wendy's. 4 for 4.
Yes, sir. I'm cashing out, man. Woo.
All right.
Dang.
One last game.
Yes, sir. The last game, which may or may not be the most fun,
All
depending
right.
on how
Well,
you
it
feel
depends who you're
about
talking to.
we're
Might be
talking to
fun. Might
DP,
be
baby.
fun. Yeah, might be. Yeah. This might be fun for you.
Whew. All right, man. It's really not that bad. So there are two active players that have scored 50 points in an opening night. I'm going to give you 20 questions to guess these two players. 20 questions, baby.
Okay.
Ask
So
away, man. I'm an
two
open book.
players, two active players, or players ever?
Two
I
active.
forgot. Active. Okay, that part slipped
So,
my mind. Okay.
so two active players that have scored 50 points on opening night. Obviously, at the time of this recording, it's open night
Yeah,
tonight.
it could change.
So
Right.
we're
Okay.
just trying to rock with this now.
Okay. I'm trying to think of how I should go about this, one player at a time. So, okay. Okay, how do I start this? What's the first question I want to ask? Have these players won championships in their careers?
Yep, actually, both of them have. Yep.
Both. Okay. I have to write these down. All right. They're both champions, both active. Is one of them a guard player, guard
Yes.
position?
Yep. One of them are.
And is the other one a forward?
You can kind of class. He was drafted as one, so yeah, we'll say he is. Yeah.
Okay. We'll put him in the forward category. Okay. So both champions, a guard and a forward. Does the guard currently play in the Western Conference?
He does.
Does the forward currently play in the Western Conference?
Yes, he does.
So two Western Conference players, both champions. Are they top 75 players on the 75th anniversary team?
One of them are.
One of them is. Okay. Okay, so that kind of eliminates. Give me like when I get to like 10 left or something like that, like give me those heads up so I know what I'm working with.
Right now, you're at
6, okay. Are these players still on the teams that they scored the 50 points with, or are they on different teams?
No, they are both on different teams.
They're both on different teams. Okay, I'll tell you what. I was thinking Steph and KD. So when you said only one was in the top 75, I'm like, okay, maybe it's Steph, maybe it's KD. Now you're saying they're both on different team. Well, hold on. KD's on a different team. So I'm like, Steph's out. Maybe KD. All right, KD is still an option, but I'm gonna.
By the way, both Steph and KD are part of the NBA 75.
Oh, that's right. Never mind. Yeah, but you said one of them is top 70. Only one of them is though.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Just one of them. Okay. Not trying to steer you anywhere. Just
No. You know, I'm a big boy. I can do this. Do they play? They're both in the West currently, like you said, right? They both are currently in the West, but they were on different teams. So when they scored those points, okay.
Yep.
Do they play in California?
One of them does.
Fuck. Shit. Okay. One of them plays in California. Okay, so all right, let me narrow this down here. So you got the Warriors, which it could be. No, he doesn't play in California. Okay, so get the Warriors out of here. Then you got Sacramento. No one on Sacramento scored 50 opening game. Then you got the Lakers and the Clippers. Okay, so like it could be fucking. He was drafted as a forward. Oh. He was drafted. I'm gonna, I'm gonna put my first guess out there. You ready?
Yeah, talk to me.
Anthony Davis.
You got one.
Okay, I got one. Okay. Because that I was starting to think of the whole he's drafted, but like so he plays center. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so now
he dropped his 50 against the Denver Nuggets back in 2016
when he was still in New Orleans, right? Okay. Okay, so now we have a guard in the Western Conference and is not in California. Okay.
He's not in California.
And obviously, AD's top 75, right?
Yep.
Okay, so he's not top 75 guard. Played in the West. Devin Booker isn't a champion. Ooh. Let me think about this now. This is tough. Okay. Is this player like known for their scoring? Like, is this like their bread and butter? Or are they like all around?
I would say they're definitely known for their scoring, yeah.
Okay.
You are at 10 questions. You got 10 left.
Okay. Appreciate it. No, he has a ring.
I believe in you. I think you can get this one, man. You're on a hot trail right now.
I want to just just get it, like nail it on the head. All right, let's think. No. No, he wasn't on a different team. He's always been on the Nuggets. Grizzlies. Ooh, no, he doesn't have a ring. Never mind. I was thinking Derrick Rose. He slipped my mind for a second. Not him. The Kings. No one on the Kings. I said the Warriors. They're gone. No California teams. New Orleans. We said the Pelicans. No one on there has a ring. I'm trying to think of other questions I could ask. That's also. Does this person have one ring or multiple rings?
He has one championship.
One championship. Okay. Fuck. The Suns. No. Texas. Oh. Is he top 75? No, he's not. Is it Kyrie?
It is Kyrie Irving, baby.
Let's go, baby. I was thinking, all right, let me think of like states with a lot of teams. And I said, as soon as I thought Texas, it clicked. And then I was like, wait, top 75. Wait, he wasn't voted top 75 for whatever reason.
Yeah, bullshit.
That's bullshit is right. Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie, I'm assuming, was on. Where was he? Was he on Cleveland or was it Brooklyn?
It was actually Brooklyn. There was like a
Okay.
crazy stretch of
Oh,
games.
that first game of the year, I remember.
Yep.
Yeah, and he like missed it at the buzzer. He like lost the handle or something, and he was like
Yep.
on the ground. He like pulled that game. Yes, I do remember that. Oh shit!
Look at you, man.
Wow.
Like I kind of
Well, it took
felt
me
like
11 It took me 11 questions, a little bit more than half.
I mean, but you know, still like I had faith in you. I thought once you asked if they had a championship, I felt like they had narrowed it down. Like you cut off a
Big
Dame,
time.
you cut off a Booker, you cut off all those other names.
Big
So it's
time.
like, all right, you're probably gonna work your way around to this. And you were being very selective. You weren't throwing shit at the wall today. You were just very
Yeah,
conservative. You know,
I
you stayed
was.
tight.
That's right, baby. That's Dante right there. That's you saw a little bit of DT right there too. Come on.
Well,
All
man,
right.
that's
That's
all I
what we
got
got
for
for
you.
games. That's an episode. That is
Yeah, man.
quite an episode. Loaded episode. But the NBA season does start today as of this recording. When this comes out, it'll be a few days in. We are excited. We're amped to actually be able to talk about some new storylines, some stuff that's actually going to be going on the court. No more picking apart storylines that we've been hearing about all summer long. We're going to jump into the action. We're excited to talk about
What
all the
Dante's
stuff.
actually saying is that we could finally stop talking about James Harden and his
Oh,
shenanigans.
finally, bro. Oh my god. We haven't mentioned him in like 2 weeks and it's been amazing. I can't wait to keep that trend going. But yeah, we're excited, and hopefully you guys are excited too. Jerry, do you have any last words before we close this thing out?
Yeah, man. Like we'll be bringing all the best storylines, the top storylines, the drama, the GM drama, the coaching drama, everything. And I'll be on the ground in some of these locker rooms actually getting content and such. So
Yes,
hopefully we
sir.
can attach and make that a part of the show here. But the last thing I just want to say, man, shout out to the Las Vegas Aces, man. Back to back,
Shout out to the Aces. Yes,
back
Becky,
to back, man.
Coach Becky, man. She's a stud.
Like
She knows
one
how to
hundred
win.
percent, 100% chance of winning a WNBA championship since she's been coaching. 2 years
Crazy.
running, baby. Let's go.
Love to see it. Shout out Las Vegas, and shout out to the betting side of Las Vegas. Hopefully they can help me out a little bit this year. Maybe it'll be a good
We'll,
year
we'll
with
see,
some
man.
futures. We will see. But yep, that's episode 12 of Sitting Courtside. Make sure if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like this video, put in the comments your overall thoughts on things we talked about, your opinions on some of the awards that we picked, who you think are going to be winning awards this season. Subscribe as well. If you're listening to this on podcast form, of course you can watch us on YouTube. But if you are listening, Apple Music, Spotify, whatever it may be, please make sure to follow. Give us a rating, 5-star rating preferably. Helps
Please.
us out a lot. Please, pretty please, we'd appreciate that. And follow us on our socials: Sitting Courtside, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Look us up. We won't be hard to find. And our personal socials are on the screen as they have been the whole episode. So follow us there. Jerry, I think that's it until I see you next week.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Well, until then, peace out, guys.